CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back as we get ready to start this one. The weather, 29 degrees, 4 to 6 inches expected in the forecast as the Browns prepare to take on the Buffalo Bills. Dick Jauron, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, his team coming off a 38-17 win at home against Miami last week. On the other sideline, Romeo Crennel and the Browns went up to New York, defeated the Jets 24-18. 13th all-time meeting between these two teams. Cleveland leads the series 7-5, their last meeting 2004.
And Gus, on a day like today, you really don't know how the weather's going to affect this game. This could be a 52-50 game because the offensive receivers may be able to catch the ball. If they can handle the ball, the defense is really going to have a hard time with the footing. But then again, Gus, it could be 6-3.
Cleveland won the toss, they'll receive it. Josh Cribbs is back deep, and he'll catch the ball. Cribbs, one of the most dangerous return men in the NFL, and Josh Cribbs with the 25-yard return. Mario Hagan brings him down. So that brings on Derek Anderson. Last week, 16 of 29, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was not sacked. His quarterback rating 83.3, 16 completions for Anderson. First down and 10 at the 33-yard line. And Anderson, high formation. Jamal Lewis is the deep man. Here's Anderson, throws down, going up top for Edwards, and it's knocked down. Jabari Greer making the play as Cleveland tried to beat him deep on first down.
Well, it's like I told you, Gus, you just don't know, and I think the Browns do the right thing. Try and go deep, find out. Greer makes a great play. Leonard's over there to make the play too, but Braylon Edwards got deep, and that's what the Browns do, Gus. They are a big play offense. They're in the tops in the league in plus 20-yard plays, and they're going to try and make the Bills honor that even in this weather.
Second down and 10 at the 33-yard line. Vickers and Jamal Lewis line up in the offset eye. Here's Lewis running over the right side, and he's tripped up and taken down. Angelo Crowell with the tackle. And it's a 1-yard gain. And there is a flag on the play.
Should we be surprised, Gus, that his mic's not
That's
working?
right. We're having some problems with the microphone. Let's take a look at the Cleveland offense. This offensive line has been awesome, only giving up 16 sacks. 5 week 1. Thomas, the talented rookie. Steinbach, great left guard. Fraley, the center, formerly with the Eagles. The backs and the receivers. Braylon Edwards having a Pro Bowl year already, over 1,000 yards. And their tight end, Kellen Winslow Jr., should be heading to the Pro Bowl as well. He's close to 1,000. Third down and 9. And here's Anderson firing. Edwards with the grab. And Braylon Edwards tripped up and taken down inside Buffalo territory. It's a 20-yard gain. Scott with the tackle.
Yeah, Gus, this is going to be one of those games where the receivers have the advantage. Watch as Edwards comes out. He makes a little cut there, but then everything's just kind of bending. The receivers are going to run banana routes. They're not going to snap their routes off, and the defensive backs are going to have to still try and plant hard. This may be one of those games, Gus, that turns into an absolute shootout because the receivers can run wherever they want and the defenders can't stay with them.
So a first down at the 46-yard line for the Browns, their opening drive. Anderson under center, play fake. He rolls out. Anderson fires, and it is almost intercepted, broken up. Terrence McGee in on the play. Joe Juravicius there defensively. All right, let's take a look at the defense for the Buffalo Bills. Schobel, 4.5 sacks. He's their leader. Williams, Strickland, and Kelsey. The linebackers, these gentlemen have really stepped up. A lot of injuries in this department. Giorgio is in the middle. Crowell is their leading tackler. Ellison, a search and flow linebacker. And in the secondary, Jabari Greer having a terrific year. Whitner is from Cleveland, Leonard, and McGee. George Wilson broke 2 ribs last week against Miami. Therefore, Jim Leonhard will get the opportunity to start at that safety position.
And right at this moment, the Browns are headed with the wind. As they get closer to the end zone, it may swirl in that end. But at midfield and down towards the Browns into the field, they're coming out with the wind.
Second down and 10 at the 46-yard line. And they hand it off. Jamal Lewis runs around the corner, tiptoeing a bit, and he finally goes down to Giorgio. There to tackle him, and it's a gain of 1.
And this really looks like, you know, it's just kind of sometimes the opposite of what you think it might be. And you can see there the temperature. You think it's going to be one of those slog, tough games where you're going to have to hand it out and grind it out, hand it off and grind it out. But I'm telling you, Gus, I've played in games like this, and sometimes they turn into shootouts because they can handle the ball and nobody can stand upright.
Derek Anderson, 16 completions last week. The least amount since week 1 against Pittsburgh when he came in off the bench for Charlie Fry and had 13 completions. 3rd down and 9 at the 45. Anderson firing incomplete. Kellen Winslow Jr., the intended receiver. Scott covering defensively for Buffalo, and the Browns will have to punt it away.
You'll see Winslow, and this is why the problem is the receivers running those comeback routes aren't as good as when they come out and cut up the field. Don't have your receivers stop and come back. Just have them keep running. Run slants or posts and stuff to keep your receivers running. That's when they're going to come open. The stop routes are going to make them fall down.
So Dave Zastidle will send it away. Roscoe Parrish is back deep. Spiraling kick. And it takes a bounce and will get into the end zone for a touchback. So Buffalo will have the football at the 20. A 45-yard punt. A 25-yard net. Here come the Bills and their young quarterback. And welcome back. No score. Buffalo takes over. 12:36 to play in the first quarter. Here comes Trent Edwards, the talented rookie out of Stanford. First down and 10 at his own 20-yard line. Marshawn Lynch, the rookie out of Cal in the backfield, playing in snow for the first time, and Lynch will gain positive yardage as he picks up 5. Sean Jones with the tackle. So Trent Edwards, 11 of 23 last week, 165 yards, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions in that 38-17 win against Miami. He was not sacked. His quarterback rating, Steve, 111.4.
Yeah, and the one thing about it, Gus, he doesn't turn the football over, or hasn't turned it over very much up to this point in his career. And that's been the huge thing about him. He hasn't been spectacular, but he hasn't made the horrendous mistake.
Second down and 5 at the 25. Lynch over the left side. And Poole brings him down. A gain of 1 offensively. Let's take a look at the Bills. This offensive line, sensational. Peters is a Pro Bowl caliber player. Dockery, Fowler, Butler, and Langston Walker is the right tackle. The backs and receivers, keep your eye on Lee Evans. He's also from Cleveland. Royal had 2 touchdowns last week in the win against Miami. 3rd down 4 at the 26. Royal and Lynch line up in the backfield. Now Royal moves to the tight end spot. Snow continues to come down. Edwards in trouble, and Edwards is hit as he throws by Andre Davis, the middle linebacker. And Buffalo will have to punt it away.
Well, I think they fooled Edwards on this. He was looking left, didn't see Davis coming from the right, saw him just in time to dump this ball, and he threw this away. It was a smart play because Freddie Jackson was standing, or Marshawn Lynch was standing right there, so he gets away with the dump off. Could have been intentional grounding had not Lynch been standing right there.
So Buffalo will send it away. Mormon, one of the great punters in the NFL, dribs back deep. It's short toward the far side, takes a bounce and gets out of bounds. And folks, this weather is incredible. Visibility, a problem. Here come the Browns. You can't see. Well, there was a flag. thrown on the play. And you can't see anything out here right now. Now we'll take a break. No score. Here come the Browns on offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by the Acura TL, advancing possibilities.
And welcome back to Cleveland. No score, 11:06 to go in the first quarter. First down and 10 at the 42-yard line now for the Browns. And before the game, about an hour before the game, there was no snow on the field. And all of a sudden, the sky opened up, the snow came down, and we are expecting between 4 and 6 inches this afternoon. So here come the Cleveland Browns. Anderson, under center, Jamal Lewis. The single setback from the 42-yard line. Vickers in motion. Here's Jamal Lewis running it straight ahead, and Lewis with some running room. He gains 3 yards on the play. Stopped by Ryan Denny. And Jamal Lewis signed a 1-year contract coming over from the Baltimore Ravens. And that 1-year contract basically was a statement. The Browns needed to know if he could still do it, and he's proven that he is on top of his game.
Man, he came back to training camp very light, very ready to play, and he's really stepped up and done everything the Browns have asked of him and more.
921 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns. He's averaging 4.2 yards per carry. 2nd and 7. Anderson looking, fires underneath, deflected at the line of scrimmage. And it looks like DeGiorgio got a hand on the football. John DeGiorgio, 2nd year out of Saginaw Valley State.
And you see here, I mean, this is what it's going to be. You're going to play action and try and find somebody. Any hesitation is going to make it problems. You look at Jamal Lewis, the play fake, picks up, and Anderson gets rid of it just before the hit by Whitner. And this offense is, you know, it's just going to be very difficult to know what you can do. You're going to have to try a few different things on the first series to find out how well you can handle the football.
3rd down and 7 at the 45. Empty backfield for Anderson. And he looks. With time, Anderson pulls it down. Pick, and it's caught. That's Jurevicius. And Jurevicius gets inside Buffalo territory. Scott brings him down. First down, Cleveland. Right place, right time for the local boy.
Well, and that was a coin flip, Gus. Could have gone either way. The ball gets tipped up in the air right there by Braylon Edwards, and Jurevicius, after the play broke down, you never have 2 receivers in the same spot, but the play had broken down. Anderson was buying some time and extended it, and Jurevicius and Edwards ended up in the same spot for the completion.
44 catches on the season for Jurevicius. Over 537 yards receiving. A 25-yard gain there. First down and 10 at the 30. Jamal Lewis stopping, and he goes down. That's McCargo coming up and making the tackle. And it's a 1-yard pickup. So the last few weeks have been great for Jamal Lewis. He's averaging over 100 yards rushing per game.
You know, we spoke to him on Friday, and it was interesting. You think a guy who's had all the accolades that he's had, Gus, he says, this is the best offense I've ever played on. And he's played on a Super Bowl team, but you think back to the teams he was with in Baltimore, he's right. This is way better than any of those offenses he's ever played on.
Last week, 21 carries, 118 yards, and a touchdown. 2nd and 9 at the 29, out of the eye. Play fake, Anderson dumps it off. Lewis out of the backfield with the stiff arm. He gets out of bounds, close to a first down. Crowell there to chase him out of bounds, but it's a gain of 11.
And this is another example of the weather, Gus. One misstep by the linebacker, Crowell, and he just can't catch up to Lewis. You see there, he has to get out of the traffic to get up to grab him, and he can't get the footing to get the quick break. Running through traffic leaves Lewis uncovered for just long enough to pick up the first down.
And these fans so excited here as Cleveland now has the football. First down and 10 at the 18-yard line. 3 first downs already for the Browns. This is Jamal Lewis once again. He's met in the backfield and taken down by Keith Ellison. Spygate 2. Here's James Brown with an NFL update in New York.
Gus and Steve, the Patriots struck first. Jets 2nd and 10 from their own 3. Kellen Clemens picked off by Eugene Wilson for the 5-yard return. Richard Seymour slams Kellen Clemens to the ground. He's injured. They're rotating quarterbacks. Back to Gus and Steve.
All right, JB, New England can clinch home field advantage with the win or an Indianapolis loss. 2nd down and 10 for the Browns at the Buffalo 18-yard line. Here's Lewis looking, and Lewis stacked up at the line of scrimmage and gang tackle. Cleveland this year in the red zone, 46 possessions, 28 touchdowns, 14 field goals. That's over 60% in terms of the touchdown percentage. 4th best in the National Football League.
And they're going against a Bills defense that's been very good in the red zone as well. So this is a place in the field where both teams feel very comfortable. The Browns know they're good enough to score points, but the Bills have been and that's one of those things that earns you the reputation of a bend but don't break. You get people down inside the red zone, you don't give up points, but it seems they're down there quite a bit.
3rd down and 9 at the 17. Drew Vicious at the bottom. Braylon Edwards at the top. Jason Wright is checked into the backfield for Cleveland. Here's Anderson. Dumps it off to Wright, and he was not ready for the pass. He hadn't turned his head, and that will bring up 4th down and 9.
And you see, this is just something that on dry land on a nice day, your receiver and your quarterback make this play. But in these conditions, it just seems like everything takes a little longer. The running back makes a little bit extra move to make sure he doesn't slip and fall, and the quarterback's got to get rid of it. And it just makes the play look like it wasn't very well planned.
So here comes Phil Dawson, 22 of 25 on the season. Into attempt a 35-yarder. Zastadil is his holder. It's up and good. And the Browns are on the board.
That is a dynamite kick. Gus, you can't kick it into this kind of conditions without extra stuff, and I'm telling you what, that's a big play in this game.
The CBS Sports Store is the perfect place to save big on gifts for all the sports fans in your life. Beat the crowds by shopping online for all officially licensed NFL apparel. Just click on shop at cbssports.com. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker, Cleveland, Ohio. The battle for Lake Erie, 3-0. The Browns with a huge field goal coming from veteran Phil Dawson.
You see there, just horrendous field conditions. Guys on the sidelines actually have it better than anybody in the stadium because they have big space heaters that kick out a lot of space. The benches they sit on are heated, have hot air going through them. The players actually have it better than anybody. Maybe not better than you and me, but better than most people in the stadium.
That's the seat in the house right there.
That is
inside the stadium. So the Browns have sent it away. Terrence McGee back deep. This one short. And it's picked up. Jimmy Leonard running the football. Josh Cribbs with the tackle, and it's a 15-yard return for Leonard. So coming up, Trent Edwards. He's from California. He's got to adjust to this Cleveland weather.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express. Are you a card member? And by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming.
And welcome back, 3-0. Browns on top of the Bills. A lot of enthusiasm in the stands this afternoon. These Browns fans can feel the playoffs coming. 1st down and 10 at the 43. Marshawn Lynch, the single setback. He runs it over the right side. Lynch with running room. And Marshawn Lynch will pick up about 7 yards on the play. Dwell Jackson with the tackle. So let's take a look. Sean Smith starts today in place of Orpheus Roy, Kelly, and Robert Smith. They use a 3-4. Let's take a look at the linebackers. Cameron Wimbley having a terrific season. Davis leads them in tackles. McGinnis is the veteran along with Jackson. And in the secondary, Sean Jones, an interception last week. Bodden and right on the corners. Poole is the free safety. And there's Jones. 5 interceptions on the year. 2nd down and 4. Marshawn Lynch pops it outside. Stutter step. Lynch And he gets inside Cleveland territory. It's a 29-yard gain for the young man out of Oakland, California. Rodney Poole with the tackle.
Well, he gets led by Butler around the corner. There's nobody for Butler to block. Lynch comes on, and the Bills knew, and so did the Browns. The Browns have really been susceptible to the running game this year. They're giving up almost over 4.5 yards a rush. So the Bills knew, particularly on a day like today, they may be able to make some hay against this defense, and that's their first opportunity to do it.
Marshawn Lynch has terrific balance as he runs it again. This time straight ahead. Marshawn Lynch, first round pick, 12th overall, the second running back drafted behind Adrian Peterson. And during the game, we usually like to focus on the key matchup. We call it the task force.
Well, one of the key things for Buffalo is Marshawn Lynch and his ability to run the football, and the Cleveland Browns have got to match up with, well, this is when Cleveland has the ball. Now that Buffalo has the ball, it's going to be Marshawn Lynch against D'Qwell Jackson and Andre Davis. And that guy right there, Marshawn Lynch, has got to get it done.
So Marshawn Lynch just passed Thurman Thomas for 4th most rushing yards by a rookie in Bills history. And this time he won't go anywhere. Drop. Andre Davis, the middle linebacker, coming up and making the tackle, and it's a loss of 3.
You got to keep plugging away if you're the Bills. I mean, that was a play where Andre Davis went right up the middle. That's a matchup you've got to watch for the Bills. Those inside linebackers are really all over the football field. They're athletic for the Browns. They're the ones who are responsible for stopping the run. The defensive lineman may make a tackle or two, but their responsibility is to keep those linebackers uncovered from blockers and allow them to run to the football.
And Fred Jackson comes in. What a story for this young man. We'll tell you about him in a moment. Edwards with all day to throw. And he fires up the sideline, incomplete. Josh Reed, the intended receiver.
Yeah, and that's one problem the Bills offense had. They had only 2 guys out in the route, and had the rest of the crew was in protecting Edwards. He had some time, bought himself a little bit of extra time, but there was just not enough guys out there to get open, even if the play was extended. He did the right thing throwing it away, but on 4th down, into the wind and the conditions, the Bills have to go for it.
So 4th down and 11 at the 23. Swirling winds. Buffalo 5 of 10 on 4th down conversions this year. Here's Edwards. Firing up the sideline, incomplete. Intended for Josh Reed, and some hard hitting going on. Jones and Wright in on the play. Cleveland all business to start.
Do we have a blimp today?
3-0, Cleveland with the lead. 3:49 to go in the first quarter. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker, first down and 10 at the 25 now for the Browns as Anderson approaches the line of scrimmage. Vickers and Lewis in the backfield. Here's Jamal Lewis, and he's hit in the backfield, keeps going forward and drives the pile. A nice piece of running by Jamal Lewis as DeGiorgio brings him down after a gain of 8.
Yeah, Dante Whitner just misses him right there in the backfield. This turns into a big play, a 9-yard gain, because a guy, Whitner, just missed him at the ankles. And Jamal Lewis is a guy you got to tackle low. You're not going to get him high. As Jim Leonard, you look, Gus, you saw it. You don't want to tackle that guy high. You got to go low.
2nd down and about 1.5 for the Browns at the 34. Here's Lewis again. And Jamal Lewis leans forward. He should pick up the first down. Lewis, one of 2 running backs in NFL history to rush for over 1,000 yards his rookie season and win a Super Bowl. Tony Dorsett did it when he was a member of the Baltimore Ravens.
And that's a guy who's, I mean, you look at it, his style of running and the way he's built is perfect for today. He's a very small step taker. He tiptoes a lot, doesn't take big strides, keeps his balance, and his feet are always under him. He makes small moves with the ball, changes directions very slightly. Perfect for today's conditions.
First down and 10 at the 36. Jurevicius in motion. Here's Lewis again. And Lewis pops it. Lewis down the sideline. And Jamal Lewis gets inside Buffalo territory. Terrence McGee with the tackle. He had a 66-yard run last week against the Jets. A big one here.
And that offensive line working up the field. Cuts it right back in behind the center, right into the secondary. Watch his feet. You'll see he never extends them outside the frame of his body. He never reaches really far with a foot to plant. Keeps him right under his hips, and that's why he's so effective, even in weather like this, even in dry weather. This guy really keeps his balance better than anybody.
He picks up 26 yards on the play. First down and 10 at the Buffalo 37. Al Lewis over the left side, gets a block from Vickers, leans forward, and goes down. Dante Whitner makes the tackle. 9 rushing touchdowns this season for Jamal Lewis. As you take a look at the most rushing touchdowns for running backs, Tomlinson, Addae, and the talented Adrian Peterson from the Vikings.
Yeah, and Lewis is really one of those guys that, I mean, you can really build an offense around him, Gus, because he's so good in every condition. He's got enough speed, as you've seen, to hit the home run. Plus, he's a big guy and can shed tacklers. Really a quality running back, a guy I think the Browns should sign back after this one-year deal is up.
5'11", 245. Anderson rolling, looking, throws, incomplete. Jurevicius, the intended receiver, and Terrence McGee covering for Buffalo.
And Anderson trying to go down the field. And we talked to Romeo Crennel Friday. He says, listen, even though the weather's bad, you'll see these games once in a while. These teams are still, and he's talking about his own team as well, they're still going to try and throw the football down the field. It's just too much a part of your offense and part of what you do not to at least try it. Plus, even if it's incomplete like that last one was, the defense has to know that you're going to put the ball in the air.
So 3rd down and 10, ball at the 37-yard line. Jason Wright comes in to spell Jamal Lewis. Here's Anderson, short drop, underneath, Jurevicius. First down again. Cleveland. And there is a flag on the play. If it stands, it's a 15-yard gain.
And those are the kind of routes they're going to have to throw, Gus. Don't make your receivers stop. Keep them moving.
Illegal formation on the offense, number 77, with the end man on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's right tackle Kevin Schaefer.
And that's, you'll see the line of scrimmage right here. Schaefer is too far off the line of scrimmage, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how you see that. I guess the official had a better look at it than we did. It looked to me like Ryan Tucker was even further off the line than Schaefer was.
This offensive line, just an awesome job this season. They gave up 5 sacks week 1 against Pittsburgh. Charlie Fight dropped back 15 times. He was sacked 5 times. They got rid of him, and now this offensive line banding together. 16 sacks this season, 11 under Anderson, and Anderson goes down. Wow. Schobel, 5.5 sacks now on the year to lead the Buffalo Bills.
And this is just a not give up sack. He's going to come in, go down. He's working against Thomas, gets chipped by the back, goes down on the ground and gets him. I mean, just keeps rolling toward the quarterback. Tough way to get a sack. Comes down inside. You see him fall and then just stumble forward. Steinbeck was helping on the end, and Schobel comes on the underneath route, and Steinbeck didn't see him because he was on the ground.
Schobel has led the Bills in sacks each of the last 6 seasons.
Now there's some confusion on the Browns sidelines as Crennel will take a timeout.
We were just talking, Steve, about how great the offensive line has been for this Cleveland Browns team, and Schobel sneaks in and comes up with the sack. A timeout on the field. 3-0. Browns on top of the Bills.
Perfect.
As you take a look at the sack stoppers, this Browns team has gotten better and better on the offensive line as the years have gone on.
Yeah, they've gotten all the way. It's just gotten better and better and better. And to this year, they aren't better. They're great. They're really good this year.
17 sacks, including that Schobel sack, given up by the Browns O-line this year. Now Cleveland sends it away. Spiraling kick. Takes a bounce and stops. The Browns will down it. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Cleveland up 3-0. We'll return to Cleveland after this. as we start the second quarter. Buffalo now with the football at the 16-yard line. Edwards is 0 for 3 to start this game as the Bills break to the line of scrimmage. Marshawn Lynch, 6 carries, 38 yards. He lines up in the backfield, running it over the left side. And Lynch ridden down. Cameron Wembley leading the way for Cleveland.
And this, watch the Browns, they really smell this out, get all the way over, they come on the outside. The cornerback comes up from the outside, doesn't, because there's nobody to threaten them on the outside. They had a tight formation. They got an extra guy right up on the line of scrimmage, and he ran right into the backfield and forced it to the outside. That running play had no chance. The Browns were all over it.
Second down and 10 at the 16. Edwards rolls out of the pocket looking. Now he's on the run. Fires. Roscoe Parrish incomplete. And that will bring up a third down and long. And this Bills team, very interesting, Steve, if you really think about it. They started the season 1-4. They've lost 9 players, including 4 starters, to season-ending injuries, and are starting a third-round rookie in Trent Edwards. Even owner Ralph Wilson said, I never thought we'd win 7 games.
Well, they've got 14 guys overall on injured reserve. They lead the National Football League in that category, and that's been one of the reasons why even their own fans have been very quick to embrace this team that's overcome so much and gotten so much good play from unexpected sources.
Like Fred Jackson, who checks into the backfield now. Edwards firing, and this one is caught. Looks like Lee Evans makes the grab, and he gets stuck. It's an 8-yard gain. Thomas with the tackle.
You'll watch this at the top, and that's Lee Evans pushing off a little bit, and they're going to call him on that. This play is going to be a penalty on Buffalo.
Sean Thompson.
Offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Sean Thompson making the tackle, 5th year out of West Texas A&M.
And one of the things that the Bills receivers are not doing, that the Cleveland receivers are doing, is they're trying to break their routes off so sharply. And it's the discipline thing. You do that all the time. But in this case, I think you run your routes with a little more bend. You don't break them sharp. You just kind of bend in instead of break in, and you're better off.
So Mormon will punt it away. Josh Cribbs back deep. High snap! Mormon tracks it down and kicks it out of the end zone. And the Browns will pick up 2 points.
Gus, you always think about the play in the kicking game being when the ball is kicked. But in this situation, you're snapping it 15 yards into a wind, and that's the problem. The snap starts to flutter. He's got no chance. He doesn't even get a piece of this football, and he does the right thing. He could have tried to pick it up and kick it out of there, but then you risk a safety or a fumble. Mormon does the right thing. You can see that ball has no chance.
Watch NFL players tell their personal stories and help decide what will be this year's NFL Super Bowl commercial. It's only at NFL.com/super ad. So Brian Mormon unable to hand the snap by Ryan Neal, the long snapper, on your right. And now Mormon will punt it away.
He did the right thing, kicking it out of the end zone. And that snap, as you saw, he barely got any kind of piece of his quick thinking and preparation that allowed him to, they always give you a plan for when that happens. And Mormon had no chance. He had no chance on that.
So Mormon will punt. McDonald and Cribbs are back deep for the Browns. And this will be Cribbs. It goes over his head, and he allows it to go out of bounds.
And that was a good kick.
And there is a flag on the play.
Safety kick out of bounds. Ball will be placed 30 yards from the spot of the kick.
Oh, that's
First
right.
down.
And that's a kickoff. And since it went out of bounds, it's going to be placed at the 40 like a kickoff would have been.
So what's going through your mind, both teams, when you're playing in weather like this, Steve? When it started snowing, I didn't expect it to continue to snow the way it has. I mean, it just won't let up.
And the wind is the real factor too, Gus. And it's got to the point now where the team, when you go out there, execution is always a thing. Can you run the play the right way? Can you do it? That's tough enough in good conditions against a good defense or a professional athlete that you're trying to beat. You go out there now, you don't know if you can actually even perform the task against nobody, let alone a defender. And they're trying to find out. They can't even find midfield.
You can't see the yardage markers.
They're trying to find the yardage markers. I don't think they're going to get there. I mean,
well, you know that
they're almost at midfield now.
Because the penalty is 30 yards from the spot of the foul, so
they should get it at the 40, and I think they're going to try and give them at the 50. Yeah, now they're walking it back. So you can see their problem. See, he's trying to find the 40, and he can't find it.
Wow.
Well, they're standing on now they're on the logo now.
It's hard to decide where to place the football.
See, and the players are saying, no, it's got to be over here. See, now the side judge is at the 50.
And that man is ready to help out.
These guys are snow blowing all the yard lines, but they can't go on the field when the players are on the field. They have to wait for a break in the action, and it wasn't enough of a break.
First down and 10 at midfield now for Cleveland. Jamal Lewis in the backfield. Here's Anderson. Wants to throw underneath Braylon Edwards. What a grab. In traffic in front of McGee. It's a gain of 9.
And that's the perfect route. Edwards, a big receiver. Watch as he comes out. He doesn't really break off the route. He just bends it in. And McGee has to plant hard and try and attack that route with poor footing, and that's why the receiver has the advantage.
Braylon Edwards, 67 catches this season, over 1,100 yards. He's averaging over 17 yards per catch. Second down and 1 at the 41. Lewis running right. Lewis powering, lowers his shoulder and gets down. Jamal Lewis powering over that right side, gains 15. And Keith Ellison makes the tackle.
You talk about play selection, Gus. They've had 11 passes, and this play is their 11th run. Jamal Lewis stepping over the tackle, running up the sideline, staying in bounds. That's why this Cleveland offense is so good, Gus. They're good in regular conditions with Edwards and Winslow. You put them in this kind of conditions and add Jamal Lewis to the mix, they still are as good an offense as you're going to see at this level.
First down and 10 at the 29. Vickers, Lewis in the eye. Here's Lewis running left. And Lewis will go down after a short gain. And nobody thought this Cleveland Browns team would be where they are right now. As a matter of fact, local talk show host Tony Rizzo dubbed this season the season of dreams for the Browns back in August. And the fans caught on to it. They've gone with it. And this Cleveland Browns team under Romeo Crennel has turned a lot of heads in the National Football League.
Well, as we said in the open in NFL Today, it's called Believeland now. Not Cleveland, Believeland.
Second and 9 of the 28. Lewis stutter stepping, breaks it back, and Jamal Lewis goes down. But you also have to give a lot of credit to General Manager Phil Savage. What happened at the beginning of the season was very interesting. Charlie Frye was the starter. He was awful week 1 against Pittsburgh. As soon as the game was over, they basically traded him to Seattle. They put Derek Anderson in as the starter. He has a huge game the next week against Cincinnati. 5 touchdown passes, and all of a sudden, the sons of the cardiac kids were born.
And that's right. And this team has really emerged as a perfect chemistry. The offensive line's been great. And Derek Anderson, I think, has been the surprise quarterback of the NFL.
Third down and 6. This time it's right, running over the right side, breaks the tackle and goes down. He's stopped by Scott. It's a 4-yard pickup. And Anderson, what a great success story. Originally drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, released in 2005, picked up the next day by Savage. He's making right now $435,000 a year, which could go up to $2.56 million. And this time next year.
Yeah, and this brings up a 4th and 2, Gus. They're going to go for it. It's ludicrous to try and kick a field goal in these conditions. And the way they've been running the football, I think you can guess Jamal Lewis with a fullback Vickers in front of him is going to get the ball.
4th down and 2, the 21. Here's a play fake. Anderson looks backside, fires incomplete. Vickers the intended receiver. And the Browns come up empty. Second quarter action, 5-0 Cleveland. Back right after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay. Circuit City. Circuit City makes it simple to shop, buy, and enjoy. It's simplicity guaranteed. And by GMC, official vehicle of the NFL and proud supporter of those who want it more.
And welcome back. You have to be a real fan to be out there today, and there are a lot of them out there, Steve.
A lot of them came down the 90 from Buffalo as well.
1st and 10 at the 22. This is Fred Jackson over the left side, and Jackson knocked out of bounds by Sean Jones after a 3-yard pickup.
The Bills going with the wind now in the second quarter, trying to grind out the football. And you want to take a look at which direction the wind's blowing in this stadium. It's coming this direction across the field, going this way, but it's also coming around the outside of the upper deck in both ends of the stadium. So when they get to the ends, it swirls hard, but the wind is going from Buffalo's right to left hard.
45-mile-per-hour wind gusts expected, and Fred Jackson running straight ahead, and he is taken backwards. Sean Jones leading the way. And how about the combination, Steve, of Marshawn Lynch and Fred Jackson, kind of reminding people in Buffalo of the combination of Thurman Thomas and Kenneth Davis, who were the 1-2 punch your teammates back in the 90s.
Well, you look around the league, and a lot of teams depend on 2 guys. Sometimes they have 2 guys that are completely different, but Buffalo has 2 guys that I think are interchangeable. Freddie Jackson catches it, runs with it well, and is fast. Marshawn Lynch catches it, runs with it, and is fast as well. 2 guys that stay fresh for 4 quarters.
3rd down and 4 at the 28. Here's Edwards looking over the middle, incomplete. Josh Reed, the intended receiver. Eric Wright breaks it up, and the Bills will have to punt it away.
Well, this is the adventure. This is the adventure. If you want to play, look at this. I mean, this is ground level. You can't see anything, and that's, you know, the smoke. You can see the wind whipping so hard. The ball falls down and just sits. It doesn't bounce at all. The punts are bouncing, and there you see Ryan Neal. You know he's thinking about the last snap that went through the end zone.
Cribbs is back for Cleveland. Good snap, and they fake it. They fake it. Mormon can run. 1st down, Buffalo. Terrific job by the Buffalo Bills special team.
And what a perfect time to call it. Mormon is a great athlete. He's very fast. He does this occasionally. Gets a great block from Freddie, not from Freddie Jackson. That's John Wendling on the outside, his personal protector, pushes the rusher up the field, and Mormon gets out of bounds just ahead of the 1st down marker. Perfect play call at the right time, right when the Bills needed it.
Back-to-back Pro Bowls for Brian Mormon. So Buffalo's offense comes back onto the field. 1st and 10 at the 34. Here's Jackson running over the left side, and he'll pick up 2. And last week, Jackson 15 carries, 115 yards against Miami. And it was the first time since Dallas's Chris Warren in '98 that a Division III player, he went to Cole College, topped 1,000 yards rushing in an NFL game.
That's right. And he was also the complement to Marshawn Lynch, who also had 100 yards. So, of course, the Bills playing a Miami team that was winless coming into that game, but really lumping them up pretty good in the running game, hoping to do the same here today to the Cleveland Browns.
2nd down and 8. And Jackson again. Nowhere to go. Jackson stood up and dropped. Cameron Wembley in on the play.
Yeah, this Brown defense, watch those big guys down inside for the Browns. They're not moving. That offensive line of the Bills is not getting any push. Right inside, both guards and the center are covered, and they can't get any push up the field for the running game. And the 3 down linemen for Cleveland are just absolutely not moving. They are holding their ground.
How about Ethan Kelly? good run support so far in the middle. 3rd down and 8 at the 35. Edwards looks backside. Jackson with the catch out of the backfield. Can he get down the sideline? Yes. Jackson breaks it back in, and Freddie Jackson picks up the 1st down. Robert Smith tracks him down.
Well, once again, that's another great play call by Steve Fairchild upstairs. The play fake and then go back. That forces the defense to plant hard and try and chase him down again. They were moving out to the wrong side, and then when they planted, about 3 guys hit the dirt trying to get back to chase Freddie Jackson down. Great play call, great misdirection.
A 19-yard gain. Marshawn Lynch returns for Buffalo. He lines up as the single setback. Play fake. Edwards rolls out of the pocket. Buying time, throws, and it's caught. Out of bounds goes Michael Gaines. Andre Davis there to push him out of bounds.
Well, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be very short passes. Trent Edwards is a good athlete getting out of the pocket. They've used him that way a couple of times already today without much success. And this one, he just takes what's there. Gaines just running virtually right down the line of scrimmage, leans forward for 4.
So Steve Fairchild, the offensive coordinator who will be heading to Colorado State as their new head coach, has made an adjustment, and it's working. 2nd down and 5 at the 41. Here's Marshawn once again, and Lynch, some hard running. And he gets close to the 1st down, and here's that 1-2 punch that Buffalo loves to talk about.
And you know, it's interesting too that Buffalo, unlike a lot of teams, when Freddie Jackson comes in the game, they don't just put him in for 1 play and let Marshawn Lynch catch his breath. They leave him in there for 3, 4, 5 plays and then bring in Marshawn Lynch again and leave him in for 3, 4, 5 plays. And that really makes it tough for a defense because you've got a fresh guy who also has a chance to get into the rhythm of the game.
Buffalo's offense finding their rhythm right now. 1st down and 10. 10th play of the drive that started at the 22. Here's Lynch trying to follow his blocks. Andre Davis got to him first.
And I think, Gus, it's really difficult for anybody to change directions out there. And I think if you want to be successful in the run game, you're going to have to get to the point where you get the defense moving one way and you run the ball back the other way and make them stop hard and do that. Right now, Buffalo is running the football right off the right side or the left side. When they do that, the defense just lines up and pushes in there as well, forcing you back into the backfield. You got to get the defense changing directions to be successful.
2nd down and 11 at the 34. And they run the reverse. Nothing doing. Andre Davis sniffed it out and makes a huge play.
Well, there you have it.
Josh Reed running the football. It's a loss of 5.
Well, that was the right play call. It's just that there you have it. Davis smelled it out. Nobody got a hat on him. He got right into the backfield and blew the play out. This is the kind of play you want to run. You get that defense to plant and go back the other way, but Davis saw it too quickly, ran into the backfield and defensed it perfectly.
Brings up 3rd down and 16 at the 39. Here comes Trent Edwards. Fred Jackson back in the lineup at running back. Edwards in trouble, and he gets rid of it. Edwards hit as he throws the football. Robert Smith with pressure, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and the Bills will have to punt this away, and Robert Smith's going to come off the top of your screen, rushing off Dockery, the guard, who pushes him way wide. But this play was so long. Edwards looking for somebody, nobody open. They had only 4 guys rushing, did the Browns. So there's a lot of guys back there. And I'm telling you guys, when you drop back, particularly on a day like today when everything is white, it looks like there's so many people back there. It's hard to pick out the receivers and decipher who's who.
So Mormon will punt. Josh Cribbs inside his own 20-yard line. Nice punt by Mormon. Cribbs fielding it, mishandles, and is dropped inside the 5. Great special teams play, a 35-yard punt. Crowell with the tackle on special teams. Welcome back. Browns with a 5-0 lead, 4:06 to play in the 2nd quarter. Cleveland with the football inside their own 5, and the weather conditions, it feels like it's about 16, windy. And it has been snowing since about an hour before the opening kickoff. First down and 10. Lewis and Vickers in the backfield. Here's Jamal Lewis looking for a hole and has one. Jamal Lewis, first down, Cleveland. And it's a gain of 12. Jim Leonard with the tackle.
Well, once again, that offensive line off the right side for the Browns, just moving people out of there. Ryan Tucker, Kevin Schaefer up at the top, along with Fraley at the center, just kicking people out. Gets a great block from Vickers, just perfectly executed for Jamal Lewis to go up, snap off a first down when they were really backed up and in trouble.
Lewis, 14 carries, 74 yards. He's averaging 5.2 yards per carry. Jamal Lewis with 33 career 100-yard rushing games, 3 this season. And he's on his way to his 4th. First down at the 19. Anderson, pump fake, going up top, Braylon Edwards. And he makes the catch in front of Terrence McGee.
What a sensational catch. We said at the beginning they needed Derek Anderson to make some big plays, and he was able to watch the little slant and go. Now McGee sees it and gets back. Edwards jumps up, catches it, tips it to himself and pulls it in. I mean, if you're going to make plays like that in this kind of weather, guys, you're going to be tough to defend. This offense is so good. They have such confidence. They're going to try their stuff even in this weather.
3 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown last week against the Jets. Underneath, incomplete this time. Jurevicius, the intended receiver, in front of Terrence McGee.
You see there, and I think it's the smart move for Cleveland. You've got Jamal Lewis already established. Now it's time to go ahead and throw the football, try and make the big play down the field. And we've said it before, I've been saying it all the entire game. This Cleveland offense does a lot of things offensively that create big plays. They're one of the leaders in the NFL at plus 20 plays.
Second down and 10 at the 43. And Lewis running. Jamal Lewis spinning forward. McGee grabs him. But another good chunk of yardage. This time it's a 6-yard gain for Lewis.
You see, this is it. I mean, plus 20 plays, completions, TD passes, 10+ plays. They're in the top 3 in all of those categories for big plays throughout the season. And that's one of the things they bring to you. And what that does, Gus, it gives you confidence to do it at any point. Even in bad weather, you're going to think you can make those plays.
And Jamal Lewis has gone over 1,000 yards. 2 minutes to play in the first half. Browns up 5-zip. Great year for Jamal Lewis. He has now gone over 1,000 yards, 6th 1,000-yard season. He's done it in 7 years in the NFL. He missed the 2001 season with a knee injury in his first year with the Cleveland Browns, coming over from Baltimore. Third down and 3. Play fake. Anderson underneath. Jurevicius, Mr. First Down. DeGiorgio makes the tackle, but it's a gain of 10.
Yeah, and it looks like now Derek Anderson's not even thinking about the wind. His receivers he's putting the ball right into their body where they need it. And now we're going to get a timeout by Cleveland to save some time and get in some points.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by TD Ameritrade, the independent spirit, and by Cadillac, introducing the all-new Cadillac CTS, the 2008 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Welcome back. Don't forget, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach C for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Joe Jurevicius having a big game already. Jurevicius, a player that always thrives on third downs. One of the best in the NFL. First and 10 at the 41 now for Anderson. Here's Anderson, steps up in the pocket, throws to the far side. Edwards goes up and makes another sensational catch. Braylon Edwards in front of Terrence McGee, gains 11.
You know, Braylon Edwards is playing like it's Thanksgiving Day. He's out in the front yard with his family. I mean, he's catching everything. I mean, they're playing out there. You can't see the yard markers. He's making his cuts like he's got 2 sore feet. And he's staying on his feet and going up and grabbing the ball. And that's the key, Gus. that ball is sticking to his hands, and he's plucking it out of the air.
First down and 10 at the 30. Here's Anderson over the middle, incomplete. Kellen Winslow Jr., the intended receiver, he's been quiet today. This time, Jim Leonard covering him. And Kellen Winslow Jr. just having a spectacular year, leads his team in receptions coming into the game with 69. And he has 943 receiving yards. So he's closing in on 1,000 as well. 5 touchdowns, no catches today.
Yeah, I think it's obvious this day is really bothering his game and their ability to get him the football more than any other player, because this is a guy that catches a lot of balls for this club, and today he's been shut out.
Second down and 10. Anderson finds Winslow, and it's incomplete. That one just not on target for Kellen Winslow Jr., the son of the great San Diego Charger tight end, Kellen Winslow.
You see right to the right of your screen, this ball's going to go right through his hands, and that's a ball he usually catches. I mean, this guy, we've covered the Browns this season, Gus. I have not seen anybody in the league in a long time who catches the ball as well as Kellen Winslow Jr. He has not just good hands, exceptional hands for a tight end, wide receiver, or anybody.
Third down and 10 at the 31. Anderson lines up in the shotgun. Here's Anderson. Fires over the middle, incomplete. That one sailed on him. Winslow was open. And now the Browns have a decision to make.
Yeah, they're going to try a field goal here, and I'll tell you what, this is a big kick. Now the wind has let up. It's not snowing so thick as it was a few moments ago. They're bringing Phil Dawson out, Gus. I'll tell you what, the wind's coming this direction.
But look at the flag, Steve, at the top of the uprights.
It's going to be maybe a fake. I mean, that's what I'm thinking right now. The wind's going both directions, coming right at him. And now the Browns have got to take a timeout as Kevin Schaefer was late getting on the field for the field goal.
1:25 to play in the second quarter. Browns attempting a field goal, we think.
Punt return.
And welcome back. Phil Dawson back on the field. He's made 10 of his last 11 field goal attempts.
I don't think he's going to attempt this field goal. I think what may happen here, the Browns may snap it to Dawson and let him punt it and catch the Bills with their field goal unit on no chance of a return. Now the Bills will put Roscoe Parrish on the field to maybe try and catch this or field it, but I think they're going to snap and just punt it down into this area to try and get the Bills pinned back with just under a minute to go in the half.
I don't know, Steve. He's good from 35 yards already. This will be a 48-yard attempt as they try to clear the field, clear his spot.
The wind has died, Gus. It's not snowing so heavily.
Dawson has been hot. Zastudel is the holder. Here's the snap. He's going to kick it. Line drive. And good! What a kick! 49 yards in a blizzard. How about that?
I said his first field goal was a dynamite kick. I don't know if I've got words for that one. A 49-yard kick out of 4 inches of snow into the wind, a crosswind. This ball is driven. I mean, driven out of there. It barely gets up. It never gets above the uprights. And it just hits the stanchion as it just clears. The Bills get good penetration, but this ball barely clears the upright right down, as you say, Gus, the pipe.
Believeland, season of dreams. Derek Anderson goes out and congratulates his kicker. The Cleveland Browns are playing like there's no tomorrow today on their home field. Phil Dawson in Baltimore. Some game-saving kicks this season. A 51-yarder. Originally ruled no good, but after further discussion, it was ruled good, sending the game into overtime. And in overtime, Dawson connected on a 33-yard field goal as the Browns won it 33-30. And the snow starts coming down harder now. Leonard fields it up the left sideline. And Leonard is grabbed and taken down. Thompson with the tackle on special teams after a 17-yard return.
Yeah, this kick lands exactly in the same spot that his kick to send it in overtime did in Baltimore, except it doesn't bank it off the upright. Watch, it hits right in the middle of the uprights, right on the center support. Boom.
That's where it hit against Baltimore.
That's exactly it.
Exactly where it hit.
I mean, and you can't hit it more accurately than that. I mean, that stanchion's right in the middle of the uprights. What a sensational kick late in the first half.
First down and 10 at the 32. Buffalo offense needs to get something going right here as they run the football. And it's Marshawn Lynch. Gains about 3 yards on the play. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. And the
look at
spot.
that. Knocked a little snow off the stanchion.
Second down. And Lynch running again. He stood up. Sean Smith, first man to him, as well as Robert Smith.
And I'll tell you, if you're a Buffalo Bill, you're looking up and said, how does the snow stop for Phil Dawson trying a 49-yarder and then kick up as soon as we get the ball? But that's exactly what happened. The snow kicked up in a huge way as soon as Buffalo took possession after that kickoff. And it seemed like there was nothing coming down when Dawson attempted the field goal. I guess that's a little home cooking there, Gus.
So the Bills are faced with a third down and 7 at the 35. And the draw play, Marshawn Lynch. And Marshawn Lynch can't find an opening. A helmet. Rather, a Brown losing a helmet, and that's the end of the first half. Cleveland with the lead. Phil Dawson, 2 huge field goals in the first half, and the Browns lead the Buffalo Bills. 8-0 at halftime here at Cleveland Browns Stadium as we prepare to start the third quarter. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker. First of all, very competitive football game for both teams. You were one of the great special teams player, if not the greatest special teams player of all time. And right now, this game belongs to the Browns special teams unit.
It really does. Phil Dawson made a couple of really good kicks. I thought the first kick he made going the other way was a good one. That last kick he made was epic. I mean, it was legendary. 49-yarder in a snowstorm in a game like this with kicking it out of 3 inches of snow is unbelievable. And of course, the wind is always the nemesis for football teams, and that's what got the snap from Brian Moorman and forced the safety.
All right, let's take a look at the first half stats.
I think this is the difference right here. The 10 first downs for the Browns, only 4 for the Buffalo Bills, and the passing yards. The Browns have been able to do some things in the air that the Bills have not been able to match. And I think, Gus, you see one thing, the reason the Browns are able to do that is that they're playing like a team that knows they're good. They have confidence in what they do. The Bills have not proven that yet. I don't think not just to the league, but to themselves.
And a reminder, this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. So as we start the second half, Buffalo will be receiving Trent Edwards, 3rd round pick out of Stanford. Will come back on the field. He supplanted J.P. Lossman as the starter. He's won 4 straight games, 5-1 this season. And they feel that he has some intangibles, but this Buffalo offense, Steve, may have to open things up in this third quarter.
Well, they're certainly going to have to play better, whether their play selection changes or whether their philosophy changes. The Bills are going to have to be more productive offensively, or they're not going to get anything done.
Here's McGee fielding it. And McGee with the lane. McGee, Terrence McGee gets all the way up to midfield. A 33-yard return. Joshua Cribbs with the tackle, but there is a flag on the play.
And this one's going to come back. But I think that's an indication, Gus, that you don't want to kick it down the middle of the field.
Illegal block at the back, 54. Return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the first penalty of the game against Buffalo. As we take a look at the playoff picture for the Cleveland Browns, it's very simple. A win today and a Tennessee loss at Kansas City, and they clinch a playoff spot for only the second time since Cleveland returned to the NFL in '99. 8-5 record now.
And the Tennessee Titans are losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead today.
And the score 14-10, Kansas City. The Chiefs losing to the Broncos last week. They'll play Detroit next week.
And of course, if the Buffalo Bills lose today, they have no playoff picture.
First down and 10 at the 20-yard line. Edwards throwing on first down, looking for Evans, and he has it. Lee Evans makes a nice catch. It's a 5-yard gain in front of Poole.
And you see there, Lee Evans just coming out, stopping it. You know, I think that's one thing. Just get something going in the passing game. They cannot rely solely on the run game. They've got to throw the football, and they've got to complete some passes. Even if they're only 3- or 4-yard balls, it forces the defense to think about it.
2nd and 5 at the 25. And Marshawn Lynch running the football. And Lynch goes down. 12 carries, 52 yards for Lynch in the first half. Robert Smith wraps him up.
And it's just obvious, Gus, as the first half wore on and now early in the second half, the Browns just do not believe the Bills will put it in the air. And even if they do, they're not afraid of it.
So that brings up 3rd down and 4 at the 26. As you take a look at the play selection, 20 carries or 20 rushing attempts for Buffalo, only 10 passing attempts. Lynch in the backfield. Here's Edwards with time underneath. Evans with the catch, and he's close to a first down. Lee Evans on a crossing route, stopped by Lee Bodden, and he gains 4 yards on the play, and that is a first down for Buffalo.
And 2 out of 3 plays in that first series has been passes, and 2 of them were completions. I think that's the difference. Lee Evans coming across the football field and just catching the football, leaning forward. And I'll tell you guys, you get a low angle shot from cameras in this state, you get an idea of what the wind is like, what the conditions are like, that you really don't see from a high angle.
Lee Evans now with 50 receptions this season. 1st and 10, and they run the football. Marshawn Lynch straight ahead. And Lynch trying to push the pile forward. He'll gain 2 yards on the play. Getting back to Lee Evans, he has 50 receptions this season, and he's the first Bills player with back-to-back 50 reception seasons since Eric Moulds had a streak of 8 from '98 to 2005.
Lee Evans, no question, is their #1 receiver. They need him to be great all the time, but you know, I'll tell you, Gus, it's really simple. To be great as a receiver, they got to throw you the football. And on a day like today, wanting to may not be enough. As you see, that's an idea of where the yard markers are for our viewers at home.
2nd down and 8. Edwards over the middle, incomplete. He had a man, but Edwards unable to find Tim Massaquoi.
And this just on a crossing route, trying to find somebody. But this, you just get an idea. Look at the conditions as you try and throw this ball. That ball was tipped and deflected at the line of scrimmage. I got to tell you, Gus, the defensive line of the Browns has been great today.
Edwards 5 of 12, 42 yards. 3rd and 8 at the 32. The wind and the snow kicking up once again. Draw play. Jackson hits the corner, and Jackson bottled up, taken down. Cameron Wimbley gobbles him up. No gain on the play. So Buffalo remains conservative, and the Bills will have to punt it away.
Yeah, and that's just one more illustration of how the Browns just don't believe the Bills are good enough to throw the football in these conditions, and they don't care if they're sound in the secondary or not. They're going to stop the run first and dare Trent Edwards to throw the football down the field.
So Mormon will punt. Josh Cribbs back deep. He handles the snap, gets it away, line drive. And it takes a Buffalo bounce, and Cribbs gets away from it. And the Bills will down it, a 48-yard punt. They're excited in Cleveland. Browns with the lead, the ball, and here comes Anderson. And welcome back. Cleveland with an 8-0 lead, 2 Phil Dawson field goals and a safety. No turnovers in this game thus far. 1st down and 10 at the 19 for Derek Anderson. Vickers, Lewis in the backfield. Here's Jamal Lewis straight ahead, and Lewis chopped down by number 52, John DeGiorgio, and it's a gain of 4, but the first half belonged to Jamal Lewis.
Oh, and he had some really big runs. This pass catch was really the first play of the game. And then he breaks the long one down the near side. Takes two guys to bring him down. He breaks tackles. Guys trying to tackle him low. He stepped out of tackles. Went over 1,000 yards on the season. And you see there, that is a big, big first half right there, Gus. And he's on his way to being the kind of factor in this game we thought he would at the open.
2nd and 5 in the 24. Jurevicius skipping across. Now Lewis. And Jamal Lewis tackled from behind. Once again, Aaron Schobel wrestles him down. No gain on the play, so that'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Well, the Browns were really balanced in their play selection the first half. I think one of the things they're going to do this half, Gus, with an 8-point lead, with the way that the Bills' offense looks now, that's like a 3-touchdown lead. I mean, they can afford not to really go for it. Although they had some success throwing it to Braylon Edwards, they've got the upper hand with an 8-point lead. That's a lot more than an 8-point lead when you're playing at home in these conditions.
3rd down and 5. Wright replaces Jamal Lewis at the 24. Anderson in the shotgun. Derek Anderson with time over the middle. Kellen Winslow Jr. 1st down, Cleveland in front of Dante Whitner. And Kellen Winslow Jr. picks up his first catch of the day. And it's a gain of 14.
Right there is Winslow. He's going to come out and he makes a nice sharp cut. Keeps his feet. It's a great throw. You know, Winslow, that's his first catch of the game, but you can bet now he's starting to get a feel, and you can tell, you can bet he's in Derek Anderson's ear telling him to give me the football again. If they're going to man-to-man him, he's going to win those battles all the time.
1st down and 10 at the 38. And Anderson hands it off. Jamal Lewis spinning. Goes down, picks up 3 the hard way in front of Terrence McGee.
See there, that offensive line just really doing a job up front. And then, you know, I'll tell you guys, when you get a guy in conditions like this, the offensive line know it. The running back knows it. The defense knows it. And when the offensive line can have some success and start doing it, they start to steamroll, and it starts to, no pun intended, snowball, as you can see there. That's the way the field looks from above. Hard to tell where they're at.
2nd and 7 at the 41. Lewis again straight ahead, and Lewis tackled from behind. John McCargo in on the play.
He came out in the pregame where they had, the field was white and all the lines were cleaned off, and there were so many people on the field both cleaning it off, and the players were warming it. It looked like an ant farm because you could see the tracks that everybody left on the field. It was just a mess. They continue to work on it.
You got to give the grounds crew here in Cleveland a lot of credit. These men and women have worked so hard under these adverse circumstances, and they are doing just a terrific job. 3rd down and 7 at the 41. Right in the backfield with Anderson. He throws up top. Winslow incomplete. That one thrown behind Kellen Winslow Jr. in front of Dante Whitner, who went to Glenville High School here in Cleveland.
Yeah, 70 tickets was it he got?
Yes, he got 70 tickets, Dante Whitner.
I knew how it was for Dante. He's coming back to Cleveland, his hometown, and I know that all his family and friends are rooting for Dante to play brilliantly in a losing effort.
And he laughed. He said, "You're absolutely right." So the Browns will punt it away. Roscoe Parrish is back deep. Dave Zassidle, left-footed punter, drives this ball. Terrific punt. And it will stop inside the 5. Special teams. The Browns have been spectacular. Zassidle pitching pennies here. 56 yards.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Wrangler, makers of Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. And by Wachovia, smart financial decisions. Are you with Wachovia?
Welcome back. Browns up 8-0. Buffalo huddles up in the end zone. Willie McGinnis and the Browns defense get their fans involved again. 1st down and 10 at the 1-yard line for this rookie, Trent Edwards. He'll find out about himself in this second half. They hand it off to another rookie, Marshawn Lynch, and he'll gain about 5 on the play. DeQuell Jackson with the tackle.
I'll tell you guys, it doesn't get much worse of a situation for a football team. You're on the road in a blizzard snowstorm, 8 points down in the second half, and you're huddled up in your end zone in front of the dog pound. I mean, this is a tough, tough place to play, let alone as a rookie quarterback with a rookie running back.
And a playoff spot potentially on the line. Tennessee trailing Kansas City now by 1. 2nd and 5. Marshawn Lynch gets it outside, and Lynch ridden out of bounds. Another terrific gain for Marshawn Lynch, the rookie out of Cal. He gains 9, and that's a first down for Buffalo.
That's one way to get away from it, just run away from the dog pound. Jackson just misses him there, and of course Wright runs him out of bounds. That's a nice run off the right side. Good work, good movement by the offensive line of the Bills. And the Browns at this point don't seem to be as sold out to stop the run on this series as they have been thus far.
Marshawn Lynch doing a terrific job in his first snow game. 16 carries, 75 yards for the man from Oakland, California. Lynch again, this time he goes left. And he'll drive the pile forward as he gets low. Stopped by DeQuell Jackson. Marshawn Lynch, the Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year last year. He rushed for 1,000 yards in 05 and in 06.
And now they've got a stoppage play. There's a player down on the field. One of the Buffalo Bills remain down. It looks like one of the big offensive linemen.
6:31 to play third quarter. Timeout on the field as they tend to the injured player. And we'll be back to Cleveland right after this. So Brad Butler, the starting right guard, walked off the field on his own. He's being looked at on the Buffalo sideline. 2nd and 9 at the 22. Edwards flushed out of the pocket with all day, dumps it off, and the catch is made by Josh Reed, and he gains 5 yards.
Now the conditions in the air seem to be lightening up, but the field is still a wreck. And the players are still having trouble changing directions. Now Trent Edwards didn't do too much on that play. Made one little move to the outside and had all kinds of time because nobody could get after him because of the poor footing. But Josh Reed just making himself available. That took a long time.
And you wonder, the Bills have been working on that hurry-up offense, that no-huddle offense. You wonder if Dick Jauron is waiting for the right time to go to it. 3rd down and 4 at the 27, and a flag on the play. Excuse me, a timeout has been called. Timeout, Buffalo, their first of the second half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sirius Satellite Radio. Hear every NFL game every week on Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio. And by Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life.
Tonight on the season finale of Survivor China, the final 4 castaways, 3 tribal councils, 2 full hours, and 1 ultimate survivor, followed by a live reunion. That's tonight after 60 minutes. Who will survive this one? Expected 4 to 6 inches. I think we've gotten more. Edwards with time, out of the pocket, first down, and Edwards showing grit. The rookie quarterback picks up a first down, gains about 9. Lee Bodden with the tackle.
And that is huge first down, a smart play by Edwards. Looks around, you can see he goes through his progression. Everybody's covered, but with the field like this, I think this is a great play. That's what it's going to take to keep the Buffalo Bills on the field, is Trent Edwards making plays not only with his arm but his feet.
Now the Bills have some breathing room at the 38. First down for Edwards. Here's the handoff, Jackson. And Jackson keeps those legs moving as he's taken down after a 3-yard gain.
Look at the 2 quarterbacks. Edwards having neither one of them completing a lot of their passes, and it seems like that 8 of 20 really doesn't do justice to how effective Anderson has been. Trent Edwards haven't tried very many passes. Only 13 times they've tried to throw it, and not very much down the football field. But I think the key thing is, Gus, for this game that I'm noticing, no turnovers. Nobody's got a turnover.
Both teams showing great discipline. 2nd and 7 at the 41. Jackson in the backfield. Play fake, Edwards. Stop and start. They're going for Evans up top. Incomplete. Lee Bodden covering Evans.
And this is a route Evans tries to do a stopping or watch him, and he just doesn't feel comfortable enough stopping enough hard enough. And Bodden is just going to give him that hook route. You see there, a little bit of the armbar across in front of Edwards. They're not going to call that. I don't know whether they didn't think it was catchable or whether it was up in the air. Both of Bodden can do just about anything he wants as long as he's looking for the football. That's a good no call.
Lee Bodden, 5th year out of Duquesne. He was a track man in college. A long jump specialist. 3rd down and 7 at the 41. Buffalo 3 of 10 on 3rd down conversion. Here's Edwards. To the far side, caught, Reed, and let's see where they spot it. In front of Eric Wright. I don't think he has enough for the 1st down.
Now they're going to call it incomplete, it looked like. Oh, there's a penalty flag as well. There's a penalty flag down there. I think it's going to be an illegal shift by Buffalo. And it's interesting because if Cleveland believes Buffalo's going to punt it away on 4th down, they may decline this penalty. Otherwise, they'll accept the penalty, send them back to 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 13, and let them run the play again.
Not resetting. 5-yard penalty. Offense.
Yeah, take the field position. It's a good play. Take the penalty. Let them run 3rd down again. They haven't been good enough offensively to think they're going to pick up a 3rd and 14.
So a 3rd down and long as they march it 5 yards back for Trent Edwards and the Buffalo offense.
Well, this is that drive that started inside the 3-yard line for Buffalo and really has been their best drive of the day. But it looks to be in jeopardy here.
Third down and 13 from the 35. Fred Jackson in the backfield. Here's Edwards. Firing up top. It is incomplete. Evans, the intended receiver. And that one's sailing on, making Evans the intended receiver. That one's sailing on Trent Edwards.
Yeah, as he comes back to throw this, he's going to let it go, but he sees somebody right in front of him. You see there, Davis right at his feet. And he just doesn't feel comfortable stepping into this throw because Davis is in his face and the ball sails on him. You see there, Royal seemed to be open on the sideline. He was short of the 1st down. Edwards tried to go deep.
So Moorman will punt it again. Cribbs and McDonald back deep. This one off the side of his foot, and the Browns will get excellent field position. Let's see where they spot it. The Browns will have it across the 40, a 21-yard punt.
Super Bowl! Super Bowl! Super Bowl!
Welcome back, 8-0 Browns. 3:22 to play, 3rd quarter. As Cleveland approaches the line of scrimmage, 1st down and 10 for Derek Anderson at his own 45 after the 20-yard punt by Brian Moorman. Here's the handoff, Jamal Lewis, and Jamal Lewis tackled at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Ryan Denny gets him. So let's take a look at the playoff picture.
Well, Cleveland has got to keep winning. If they keep winning, they're going to be okay. Jacksonville is winning at Pittsburgh right now, and Tennessee over here is losing at Kansas City. So it is all confused at the moment. But if these two teams, Jacksonville, Cleveland, keep winning, they're going to be the teams that are in the playoffs.
So if Cleveland wins and Tennessee loses to Kansas City, Romeo Crennel and the Browns have a playoff spot locked up. 2nd and 10 from the 45. Lewis again running over the right side, stood up by Terrence McGee. And that pile goes forward again, and he gets close to midfield. Let's take a look at the two scores. Jacksonville leading Pittsburgh 16-7.
In Pittsburgh as well. That's impressive with given the Pittsburgh season.
And Tennessee now down by 1.
they've gotten back into that game in Kansas City. They were trailing by 14-6 at one point.
So that brings up 3rd down and 6 from the 49. Browns still with an opportunity if things break the right way to possibly win the division. Here's Anderson. There's pressure. Fires. And incomplete. Winslow Jr., the intended receiver, in front of Whitner.
And the Bills brought a lot of pressure that time. They rushed 6 guys and did all kinds of weaving and moving. Had a stunt up front along with the linebackers twisting. Offensive line sorted it out, got all but one guy blocked, and Anderson had to dump it and force the bad throw.
So Zassadil, who delivered a beautiful punt that just died inside the 5-yard line, will punt for the 5th time. Parrish and Jim Leonard are back deep. Good snap. Wobbly kick in the direction of Leonard. He picks it up. And Leonard will dive forward, a 36-yard punt, a 7-yard return. Leon Williams with the tackle. Here come the Bills on offense. Tomorrow on CBS, a Miami crime scene goes up in flames. And from the ashes rises a new kind of killer. David Caruso stars in a new episode of Monday night's #1 drama, CSI Miami, tomorrow at 10, 9 Central on CBS. They're rocketing Cleveland, 1:40 to go in the 3rd. Browns up 8-0. And here comes Trent Edwards, 6 of 15, 46 yards. 1st down and 10 at his own 24. Snow starting to let up a bit now. They hand it off. Marshawn Lynch. And Lynch trying to find a hole, gains 3 yards on the play as Eric Wright brings him down at his ankle.
You know, the Cleveland Browns came into this game, they were allowing about 4.6 a rush through this season. I'll tell you, it's like they decided they weren't going to do that today. They have really been tough against the run up front, particularly those 3 down defensive linemen. Sean Smith, Ethan Kelly, Robert Smith have been outstanding up front for the Cleveland Browns.
2nd down and 7 to the 27. Edwards in trouble, dumps it off. This time it's Gaines with running room. Whoa! That is some beautiful running. Wright makes the tackle. But a great run by Michael Gaines. Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. Here's James Brown in New York.
Hey, Gus and Steve, Pittsburgh is undefeated at home, but Jacksonville couldn't care less. David Garrard play action, his 3rd touchdown toss of the game. This one 55 yards to Dennis Northcutt. 2nd missed point after the game, but it's 22-7. Jacksonville on top of the Steelers. Gus and Steve.
And welcome back. Jacksonville can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Tennessee loss. And they run the football straight ahead. Trent Edwards and the Buffalo offense. Marshawn Lynch continues to play hard. And we are at the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Cleveland 8, Buffalo nothing. We'll return to Cleveland after this message and a word from your local station. Start of the 4th quarter. Browns lead it 8-0. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker with you as the Bills start 2nd and 7 from the 39. As you take a look at our yard marker graphic. First time we've ever done it. 2nd down and 7. Edwards throwing. And incomplete, intended for Evans. And that'll bring up 3rd down. Nothing working well for this Buffalo passing game.
No, Edwards threw that ball, and it's hard to tell where the ball moved, but it took a long time for Evans to get out of his break. They're taking a couple extra steps every time they try and stop and come out of their break. It just takes extra time. Edwards let it go on time instead of waiting, and it's an incomplete pass.
So that brings up 3rd down and 7 at the 39. Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. Here's Edwards. Looking. Bounces out of the pocket. Fires over the middle, incomplete. Intended for gains. That one thrown high. Sean Jones covering for the Browns.
You watch, he's got plenty of time to do this. Buys himself some more time. Retreats a little bit, but you can see what he's looking at. And that ball moves a little bit, but that had no chance of being caught by a Buffalo Bill.
So Josh Cribbs is back deep. 5th punt of the game for Mormon. He had one go over his head and into the end zone in the first half for a safety as he kicked it out of the end zone. Mormon sends this one away. Spiraling kick. Cribbs up the right sideline, and he is dropped. A 36-yard punt and a 4-yard return. And here come the Browns to start the 4th quarter. So you want to be a TV cameraman? That's our Charles Hill right there. Terry Jones on the other side. Hey, Terry, say hi. Mark Enman, he loves it. He lives in Florida. Mark, great job. 1st down and 10, providing you all the great pictures we see today. As Anderson throws it, Kellen Winslow Jr. out of bounds in front of Whitner. And Whitner, yesterday when we talked to him, he said, man, it's going to be tough taking on Kellen Winslow tomorrow because although he's a tight end, he's got hands and speed of a receiver.
Yeah, they really consider Kellen Winslow a receiver. Dante Whitner's being asked to cover him man-to-man. That's a bit tall order. You couldn't do it even in the best of conditions for a defensive back. No defense in the league really will put a guy one-on-one on Kellen Winslow unless they're a cornerback. Whitner, a safety, being asked to do it here in these conditions.
And they hand it off. Jamal Lewis. Ooh, some power running there. Lewis lowering his shoulder. And he's stopped by Kyle Williams. But Jamal already closing in on 100 yards. 21 carries, 94 yards prior to that run. And now 22 carries, 98 yards for Jamal Lewis.
Well, you knew he was going to be a huge factor in this game for the Browns. If they were going to be successful, he had to be good today, and so far he has been exactly what they've needed.
2nd down and 5 at the 48. Jurevicius in motion. Lewis again turns a corner, breaks the tackle down the sideline. Jamal Lewis, smash mouth football, Cleveland style. Tennessee, Kansas City fighting. Here's James Brown in New York.
Indeed, they are. Tennessee in the hunt for a wild card, Gus. As you well know, Vince Young pump fakes, goes up top to Roydell Williams. 42 yards of pay dirt. 2nd touchdown reception for Williams of the day. 2017, Tennessee over Kansas City. Back to Gus Johnson. Steve Tasker.
All right, so the Titans not allowing it to be easy for this Cleveland squad. 1st down and 10 at the 38. Jamal Lewis, his 34th career 100-yard game is in the books now. Prior to that run, 23 carries, 113 yards. Whitner makes the stop. And at the beginning of our broadcast, we talked about this Cleveland squad and how they've managed to find the right pieces. Well, Phil Savage, their general manager, has done an awesome job. If you think about it, he gets Jurevicius, he gets Jamal Lewis, Braylon Edwards doing a terrific job now, along with Kellen Winslow Jr. But the big get is Derek Anderson. He signed him the day after Baltimore released him. And the rest is history. 2nd down and 7 at the 35. Now Lewis stutter step. And Jamal Lewis, stopped by Crowell.
Gus, as this game wears on, it's starting to get to the point where it's going to be grinded out for the Browns, wear the clock out. But you're right. When you're going forward as the Cleveland Browns, particularly on offense, your biggest question now is, what are you going to do with Derek Anderson after this season's over? He's making minimum, and Jamal Lewis is under a 1-year contract. If you lose both of those guys, forget it. You're back to square one offensively. They've got to have a plan in place to keep Jamal Lewis and Derek Anderson on this roster going forward. But that's a good problem to have at this point, no question.
A high-class problem. 3rd down and 4 at the 32. This time it's right and right, chopping his feet right. Stopped by Williams, a flag on the play. And this Browns team, Steve, is getting stronger.
They really are, and the conditions now have taken a turn for the worse as well.
Holding, 84. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
So Jurevicius called for the hold.
And that's one of the things, Gus. Mistakes like that, penalties, particularly holding penalties and illegal blocks in the back, that kind of thing, they're particularly hard to overcome in these conditions. Right here's Jurevicius. He's going to be working against Whitner as Whitner comes up and tries to spin out. He just wrestles him to the ground. He can't do that. As Whitner comes inside, just gets him and wrestles him down with the horse collar, and that's an easy call, and it should have been called, and really was the difference in the play. Whitner tries to spin out of the tackle and can't get there.
Third down and 14 at the 42. Anderson in the shotgun. And Anderson. Here's a screen coming up, incomplete. Brian Scott covering for Buffalo, and the Browns will have to punt it away.
And not altogether a bad drive for the Browns, even though they're not going to come away with points. They soaked up a lot of time and changed field position. They got 3 or 4 first downs on that drive, changed field position, and give Zastudil a chance to kick the Bills down deep into their end once again.
Romeo Crennel, 10 minutes and 57 seconds away from his 9th win. Low snap handle. Good job by Zastudil as he gets it away. And it'll take a bounce and will die deep inside Buffalo territory. A 29-yard punt. 10:45 to play in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota. Moving forward. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Sprint, proud sponsors and avid fans of the NFL.
Welcome back. Browns with an 8-0 lead. That's our Alan Vitt on the goal line, giving you another angle. That's his shot right there as the Bills step to the line of scrimmage. First down and 10 at the 13-yard line. Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. He runs it. Lynch taken down. Guess who? Andre Davis. He's been making plays all over the field today.
Yeah, you talk about the Browns defense. This is what they've done. They came in really determined and focused on stopping the run. They've been attacking the Bills' backfield, have dared the Bills to do it in the air, and when they did, they put a big hit on the receiver. They've swarmed the football. Really, it's all dominated up front by that interior defensive line, and of course the linebackers being so athletic have really made some great tackles. That's Todd Grantham right there, defensive coordinator for the Browns, doing a great job.
Here's Edwards throwing underneath. Ball is caught. Robert Royal with the grab, and Royal gets to the 20-yard line, picks up 4 yards on the play. Lee Bodden makes the tackle. That's the thing about this Browns team today. They are doing a terrific job of tackling in bad weather.
You notice the Bills have struggled getting Jamal Lewis on the ground with one guy, but the Browns have really been good at having the situation where the first guy that gets to the football makes that tackle. Not very many broken tackles by the Browns today. They've done a great job, and that's been, I think, the difference between the Bills going off the field a little quicker than the Browns offensively.
Third down and 3 at the 20. Fred Jackson lines up in the backfield. Here's Edwards. Fires underneath, incomplete. Lee Evans, the intended receiver. And Edwards just can't get it going today. McDonald covering.
And it's a frustrating day trying to throw the football. While he slips as he comes back and lets that go, and it sails on him. You see there, he's just disgusted. Sometimes a guy's not used to throwing with gloves on. The ball comes out a little different. Could be another number of things. Could have been the wind. Could have been his release.
There's the game breaker right there, Josh Cribbs. One of the most dangerous return men in all of pro football. Foreman. That one off the side of his foot again. And it takes a bounce. A 30-yard punt as Mormon shanks it. .9:14 to play in the 4th quarter. And the Browns have it at midfield. Vickers, Lewis line up in the eye behind Anderson. Winslow Jr. in motion. Lewis, and he he's tackled from behind. Nice looking tackle by Brian Scott, who's had a solid game today. So let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture. The Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, no question. And all these guys have clinched divisions. They're all going. Tampa Bay is leading. But look at this. These are the guys you got to watch. New York Giants, they look to have a stranglehold on on the first wild card. But Minnesota is in a dogfight with all of those teams. A lot of teams still in it at this point, Gus. And there's only a couple of games to play.
2nd down and 8 at the 48. Here's Jamal Lewis looking. Schobel wrestles it down. And you know, since we're in Cleveland, we need to take our hat off to a coach that's not in pro football right now. But Marty Schottenheimer, the former Browns coach and Kansas City Chiefs coach, Washington Redskins coach, and San Diego Chargers coach, look at what he's done during his career just this season. Wade Phillips is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He was in San Diego last year. How about Rob Jasinski, the offensive coordinator here in Cleveland? He's done a terrific job. He was a tight ends coach last year in San Diego. Cameron struggling in Miami, but he's a head coach. Congratulations to Marty Schottenheimer, coach. You're still doing a great job, even though you're not in football right now, as Winslow misses that one. And Scott makes the tackle.
You talk about this game, and you just see this replay, and Winslow just trying to get out to the flat. You know, you talk about these two teams, they don't meet that often. They're not in the same division, but these are two towns and cities that are really closely related. I mean, even when the Browns did not have a team in the late 90s, Buffalo had a Cleveland Brown Day in Buffalo at a home game, and many busloads of Cleveland fans came to Buffalo for a home game. So these teams, they drink the same water, Gus.
That's right, Lake Erie, as Zastudil slips, and that one hooks out of bounds.
And that may be the worst punt of Zastudil's career.
Couldn't keep his footing. Got it off. Thank goodness he didn't whip.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Eat fresh.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, you'll be surprised what Yankee third baseman Alex Rodriguez has to say about the new steroid scandal. Tonight on 60 Minutes. 1st down and 10 at the 41-yard line for Buffalo. This is their 2nd best starting field position of the day. Their best coming at the 43-yard line. Marshawn Lynch lines up in the backfield. He clears some space. Here's Lynch running. And Marshawn Lynch ridden down by Sean Smith, a 2-yard gain. And if you think about it, Steve, although it's been tough sledding for this Buffalo squad, they're still right in this game. 1 touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, it has been one of those games, and that's been the kind of personality of this club. They haven't run off and left anyone on the scoreboard up until last week when they played Miami. This is a team that plays good defense, doesn't turn it over, and tries to hang in there and steal it at the end. And this is typical of them, but they've got to make some plays to get it done.
2nd down and 8. This man has to make some plays. Edwards over the middle, incomplete. Wow, Michael Gaines.
That might have been the play right there, Gus. Gaines catches that ball and turns up the field. All he has to do is make one slight cut to the outside, and he's going to go right here. Catch that, turn it upfield, and Poole is going to be all by himself in space. And he knows, you can tell by the way he's got his hands on his hips, he's disgusted. He knows he had a big one there.
3rd down and 8 at the 43. Buffalo 3 of 13 on 3rd down conversions. Fred Jackson in the game now. Reed in motion. They hand it to Jackson. And Jackson stumbles forward on 3rd down and 8.
I think they hand that off, Gus, because I think it should be 4-down territory, but I don't know if it's going to be. No, they're going to send Mormon out. I don't agree with that. I think you've got to do something different than just hand it off. The way their running game has gone, Gus, Trent Edwards has taken the snap, walked to one direction, right or left, handed it off, and they ran right or left, the same direction he handed it off. It's too predictable, I think, in the running game, and they're not getting enough push up front.
Mormon has already faked one and ran it for a 1st down. Josh Cribbs back deep, standing close to the 10. Mormon gets this one away, and it's a beauty. Cribbs lets it take a bounce, and it will not go into the end zone. Great special teams play by Buffalo, and now the Browns will be pinned deep in their own territory.
Yeah, Justin Jenkins did a great job of batting that out of the end zone. Great punt by Mormon. Great coverage by Jenkins going out, keeping that out. Watch as this ball goes down. It's going to get in there, and Jenkins alertly bats it out. Sensational special teams play when the special teams of Buffalo have really struggled today and got some bad breaks. They come through deep in the fourth quarter.
A 50-yard punt by Mormon. Now the Browns will huddle up in their own end zone.
Well, now it's crucial. Buffalo has got to get a stop defensively and do it quickly here to keep field position in their favor.
First down at the 3-yard line for Anderson. There's Winslow in motion. They hand it off Jamal Lewis. Breaks it back with room. Lewis, look at him run. That is an NFL running back right there. Hargrove with the tackle, a gain of 13. Here's JB in New York.
Hey, Gus and Steve, and this is an NFL quarterback here. Brett Favre hooking up with Donald Driver. That pass put Brett Favre in the top spot. Most passing yards in the career, surpassing Dan Marino. The record was 61,361. Packers on top by 16 in the fourth. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker.
All right, JB. Lewis now 28 carries, 134 yards. They give it to him again. Jamal breaking tackles. Jamal Lewis is getting better and better as this game goes on. Kelsey with the tackle. It's a gain of 8. And Steve, give a lot of credit to that O-line of Thomas, Steinbach, Fraley, Tucker, and Schaefer.
Oh, they're doing a great job up front. And this is the kind of offense you need at this point of every game you play in. If you're getting deep in the fourth quarter with any kind of lead, you need a running game and an attack like this. Steve Marshall, the coach of the offensive line for Cleveland, did an outstanding job. But I'll tell you what, Gus, he's coaching some pretty good horses.
Second down and 2 at the 24. The snow is stopped. Here's Jamal Lewis again. And Lewis, tackled by Crowell, diving forward. Jamal Lewis picks up 2 yards. Things have really cleared up now, Steve.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you think about this, Gus. There's a drive where Buffalo had exactly what it wanted. Cleveland backed up inside his 5-yard line. 4 straight runs, Jamal Lewis, and Cleveland is out to its 35-yard, 25-yard line. Just an outstanding drive, getting out of their own end.
145 yards today for Jamal Lewis. First down and 10 at the 30. Lewis again. And Lewis punishing defenders. DeGiorgio makes the tackle. But after a while, as Jamal Lewis keeps it ramped up, you don't want to tackle a big, strong back like this man.
Well, that's what it is, Gus. It's so often you hear about backs getting better in the fourth quarter. And even you've said it just now. But what happens is just what you said. It's not so much that he gets stronger, but those guys tackling just get tired of getting beat up. And he is doing some pounding right now. In fact, he'll walk off, take a little break, and they'll bring in the changeup.
Second down and 7. Jason Wright replaces him. Out of the offset eye. Wright, the deep man. Jurevicius in motion. Here's Wright. And Wright with some running room. Wright going down. Cleveland picks up 10 yards. Leonard with the tackle. And the Browns starting to lay the wood out now on this Buffalo squad.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. And you can see the offensive line, the running backs. Cleveland's offense really has a spring in its step. They realize really how good they've got it right now, what they've done so far, and you can tell that offensive line is just starting to feel really good.
Give a lot of credit to Steve Marshall, the offensive line coach. First game of the season, they gave up 5 sacks in the first 15 dropbacks for Charlie Fry. And this time, Wright taken down in the backfield. That's a very nice job. Whitner in on the play, as well as McCargo and Brian Scott, a loss of 2 yards.
And I think at this point, that's what you've got to do. You got to just send everybody up there, stop the run, force them to throw the football, and
a chance to talk to Hank Fraley. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Let's flash back.
1989 playoffs, Gus. Bernie Kosar, let me tell you, he was sensational that day. And there, the next, Jim Kelly. And that was really when the no huddle began to take shape in Buffalo. Kelly was sensational. And that pass right there for the game winner got dropped. And on the next play, trying to find Thurman Thomas, who had 11 catches already on the day, picked off by Clay Matthews, who in my opinion should be in the Hall of Fame and is not.
And the score of that game, 34-30. The longest playoff droughts.
These are two teams that have not been to the playoffs. 0-2 for the Browns, but the Buffalo Bills in 1999, only the Arizona Cardinals have had a longer wait.
Dick Duran on the Buffalo sideline. Romeo Crennel, who came over after all the success in New England with Bill Belichick as his defensive coordinator. Second down and 13 at the 40-yard line. Jamal Lewis back in the game. Drew Vicious in motion. Here's Jamal Lewis, stutter stepping with all sorts of running room. And to get back to the story I was trying to tell, at the beginning of the year, after that Pittsburgh game, when they gave up the 5 sacks in Charlie Fry's first 15 dropbacks, this team band together. And Hank Fraley told me before the game on the field that the key was that every man had to take responsibility for his job, and not only the offensive linemen, but the backs as well, and the tight ends as well. And Steve Marshall, their offensive line coach, was the leader.
Well, you got to tip your hat not only that to the coaching staff and to Phil Savage, as you mentioned. They made a bold move. They traded their opening day starting quarterback on Monday after week 1. And this team has bounced back, and now they are not only in the conversation for the playoffs, they are in the driver's seat as far as they're concerned. They keep playing like this offensively, they're in it. You see there, once again, Cleveland, what this is going to mean to them, getting to 9 wins if they can hang on here. That's enormous with all these teams chasing them at only 7 wins.
Tennessee is winning right now on the road at Kansas City. Pittsburgh losing, so the Browns, as I mentioned earlier, with the chance to catch the Steelers, they need to continue to win. Steelers own the tiebreaker. They defeated Cleveland this season. Third down and 7 at the 46. Lewis, 32 carries, 147 yards. And he'll run it again. And Jamal Lewis gets to midfield.
Not quite enough for the first down, Gus.
As we take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Cleveland Browns, they'll take on Cincinnati next week, and they'll wrap up their season at home against the 49ers. 2:03 to play in the 4th quarter. Browns up 8-zip. But we will stay right here. They're going to measure to see if the Browns picked up the first down.
One of the things, Gus, it's hard because there's no hash marks on the side of the field for the chain guys to look, and the one on the far side is just a marker so that if a player goes out trying to get the first down over there, he sees it. But the one on the near side who's coming out with a change was much different than the marker on the far side. You see there, they're that much short. They're a half a yard or a yard short.
So let's see what Romeo Crennel elects to do. Will he go for it to try to put away this Buffalo team?
I don't think so. I think you punt it away.
I don't know. Derek Anderson stays on the field. They're going to try to put him away right now. Buffalo out of timeouts. 4th down and inches.
I'll tell you what, Gus, if you're going to go for it, Jamal Lewis is the guy you got to give it to.
Jamal Lewis, awesome performance. 33 carries, 163 yards. And we'll wait until after this break. 2 minutes to play. 2 minutes away from win number 9 for Romeo. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. 4th down and inches for the Cleveland Browns at the 48-yard line. They're trying to put away Buffalo right here, who's out of timeouts.
Snap it. Take
Good discipline.
Good discipline for Buffalo, and a pretty smart play by the Browns. I thought it was kind of a mistake not to take the field position with 2 minutes to go the way your defense has been playing, make Buffalo go the distance of the field. They still have to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Try and let Zastudil pin him back, even though he slipped on his last punt. Get the field position here.
On the other side, Roscoe Parrish hasn't had an opportunity to return one. He is an electric punt returner when given the chance.
You don't want Zastudil to slip on this punt.
Zastudil standing at the 36-yard line. This one end over end. Leonard fields it on the scoop. Leonard, tough running. He gets to the 30-yard line before being chopped down.
That's a pretty smart play, picking it up. You got to get every yard you can at this point. 1:51 to go with no timeouts. And here comes Trent Edwards on a day when the Buffalo offense has not been good, trying to go 70 yards
with no timeouts. And they need a touchdown.
Well, the weather has never been better today than it is right now, so they've got that going for them. And they'll be in no huddle here the rest of the way.
So Edwards in the shotgun. Fred Jackson in the backfield. Now Edwards steps up over the middle. Incomplete. Almost picked off by Leibott. That one deflected.
Yeah, that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage when he released it. Lee Evans coming up, hooking up right in the middle. That ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. You saw how far off it was. The ball falling through right through Bodden's hands. That's how close they were to putting this game away on that play right there.
2nd down and 10 at the 30. Wynn kicking up. Edwards fires up the sideline. Oh, it's caught. Reed at midfield in front of Sean Jones.
And they kept the clock running for some reason. I guess they decided Josh Reed didn't get out of bounds. They kept the clock running on that play. They're right at midfield.
Bills quickly to the line of scrimmage. 20-yard gain. Edwards fires over the middle. Incomplete. Lee Evans lets it go right through his hands in front of McDonald.
You got to pull this in, and this is the play to Josh Reed. He makes the tough catch, knows he's going to get whacked, and stays on his feet, gets out of bounds, and they don't stop the clock. If it comes down to the last few seconds, I mean, if you don't get off your feet, I don't know how you don't keep the clock, stop the clock on that. But nevertheless, great play by Buffalo, and they've still got a chance.
2nd down and 10 at the 50. Edwards dumps it off. Jackson with the seam. Jackson trying to get out of bounds, and he does. A 15-yard gain. So a 20-yard gain and a 15-yard gain in 3 plays.
Yeah, Gus, and you think about this last week, the Browns let the Jets back in the game late in the 4th quarter. They just didn't keep their foot on the gas long enough, and it looks like the Bills, with an opportunity to make this close, all they need is one touchdown, a little bit just like the Jets last week, and it got a lot closer than the Browns liked it in New York.
1st down and 10 at the Cleveland 35. Edwards throwing it up top. Incomplete. Evans had a step on Brandon McDonald, the rookie out of Memphis. And don't forget, coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach C for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show.
And that ball looked at, when he threw that up there, it looked like it sprouted wings. He started fluttering, it started fading out of the bound. That ball didn't come anywhere near where Trent Edwards threw it when it came down. The wind really pushed it.
And watch Roscoe Parrish. He's the slot receiver at the top of your screen. Number 11. He's terrific in space. 2nd down and 10. Edwards fires. Incomplete. Evans, the intended receiver again. And right now, Trent Edwards is getting locked on Lee Evans. And Evans is just having a hard time tracking the football.
Yeah, Evans has one drop on this drive, the one right between his hands, and Edwards still trying to find him. Evans is their playmaker, there's no question. He is a great receiver, has not done much today, had a couple go through his hands, had trouble coming out of his breaks, and Edwards having a hard time putting the ball right on his body.
3rd down and 10 at the 35. Edwards in the shotgun. Edwards with time over the middle, incomplete again. Intended for Robert Royal, and that'll bring up 4th down and 10.
Robert Royal coming down the middle of the field, and the Bills have had some success with their tight ends down there. Gaines just dropped one early in the game. That's just out of his reach, and I think the ball's moving quite a little bit when Edwards releases it.
And look at this crowd. Biggest play of the game. 4th down and 10 from the 35.
And this is 4th and season for the Buffalo Bills.
Edwards in the shotgun. He's made plays on this drive. And a whistle. A timeout called by the Browns. And they now have one timeout remaining as Trent Edwards heads over to the sideline to have a talk. And Romeo Crennel and Todd Grantham will meet with the Cleveland defense. So let's take a look at the game summary.
And it started out early on. The Cleveland Browns making some headway offensively, being able to find Braylon Edwards. And then Jamal Lewis with the big run down the sideline. And then this kick. The first kick was great. You saw the conditions, and those conditions led to this bad snap and the safety. And then this dynamic kick. 49 yards in a snowstorm. Dawson puts it through, and that's the scoring for the entire game. All Cleveland at this point.
Last time the Bills were shut out in a football game, December 27th of 2003, a 31-0 loss to New England. 4th down and 10 at the 35. Evans splits wide to the top of your screen. Parrish is at the bottom. Reed is in the slot at the bottom. Royal in the backfield with Fred Jackson to Edwards' left. Out of the shotgun. Here's Edwards. Steps up underneath. Caught! Lee Evans. 1st down, Buffalo. Clock continuing to run. What a throw. What a catch. The Bills scramble to the line of scrimmage. 30 seconds to go. That was a gain of 20, and Edwards spikes it. The Bills aren't done yet.
And that was a sensational throw right where it needed to be. Evans didn't have to reach for it. He threw it right into his gut, and Evans pulls it down. You see there the defenders making sure they stay on. That's Mike Adams, the safety, right there. Now he'll roll off, and then he'll jump back on Evans, trying to keep him from getting up. Smart play, but it didn't work as the Bills still got up and spiked it.
Evans out of the game, 2nd and 10 at the 15. Edwards in the shotgun. Edwards looking underneath. It's caught. Reed breaks a tackle and gets out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Poole pushes him out of bounds. It's a 5-yard gain.
And this is just a game at the top. Roscoe Parrish is going to run off deep. Bodden stays with him. And that's a great job of defending by McDonald, the rookie coming up, staying with his man, not getting picked off by Parrish going deep.
3rd down, 5 of the 10. 21 seconds left. This rookie quarterback has grown up in this game. His team in good shape now. Out of the gun. Edwards looking with time in the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Roscoe Parrish. And Lee Bodden was there defensively.
Parrish he's been doing this all game, going deep out of the slot. This time Edwards tries to get it to him. It's just that much out of reach. Bodden doing a nice job of shielding Parrish from being able to see the pass, not let alone catch it.
So that brings up 4th down and 5 at the 10.
15 seconds left.
Last week, Buffalo with some success with their tight end. Robert Royal had 2 touchdowns. He's at the bottom of your screen as a tight end. Here's Edwards looking. They find Jackson, and he won't get in. He won't pick up the first down, and that'll do it. Sean Jones with the tackle. And the Cleveland Browns will pick up their 9th win. Great effort by Buffalo. But the Browns bend but do not break, and with 3 seconds left, they'll take a knee and pick up win number 9.
Well, it's a nice little screen pass, a good thought. Get the ball, make sure you complete the pass, give your guy a chance to make the play, but just too many Browns running too far up the field. The blockers had a hard time sorting through them. It was a valiant effort by the Buffalo Bills on that final drive. It was probably their best drive of the day when the pressure was on. They just came up short, and the Browns will walk away with the victory.
Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns. Derek Anderson will hold up.